Hello, my name is Carla, I am Skeletor and welcome to my video. So today's artwork was never intended for a video, but I thought it might be good to try and raise awareness for trigeminal neuralgia, which, if you're anything like me, you might not know anything about it up until it affects you or someone that you know. And I just want to make a disclaimer up front and explain that I have not yet been officially diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia, but I am confident enough to say that I am suspected to have trigeminal neuralgia based on my own research and my own self-diagnosis, and also based on my dentist's opinion. I think there's good points and bad points of self-diagnosis, and for me, in this case, and in other people's case, if what you're going through is very rare, it can be really helpful and important that you can identify it, just in case, like me, you go to your doctor and they don't have a clue, because they probably wouldn't think of that first. So it can actually help speed things up. But on the flip side to that, if you do self-diagnose yourself and it's wrong, you're going to be treating it wrongly, differently, it's not going to help. So yeah, I mean, everything, you know, everyone's different, that sort of thing. I mean, some people don't have access to get help, so their best option is to self-diagnose. In my case, I do have my self-diagnosis backed up by my dentist's opinion. So this artwork in general is to sort of represent my own experience with trigeminal neuralgia, and it's sort of like a physical representation of what I go through. But before we get into it, I just want to say the irony is not lost on me that my first video showing my face also happens to be about my face. Because if you didn't know, trigeminal neuralgia is basically nerve pain in your face. And let me guess, my face hurts me, but it sure is killing you too. Anyway, so let's get started. Trigeminal neuralgia is nerve pain, neuralgia of the trigeminal nerve, which is your facial nerve. And if you don't know anything about the trigeminal nerve, it is sort of a central nerve that splits off into three, trigeminal, and it covers the whole nervous system of your face. And more often than not, trigeminal neuralgia affects people only on one side of the face. For me, it's on my right side, and the reason for that is because there's two trigeminal nerves, one for each side. It isn't unheard of that people do suffer neuralgia in both sides of the face, but I believe that's pretty rare. As I said, there's three parts of the trigeminal nerve, and the first part covers sort of like the forehead, and I think it goes down your nose, but I think it's sort of just above your eye and sort of that area. And then the midsection covers anything below your eye, so your eyelid to sort of your top set of teeth. And the bottom section covers your bottom set of teeth and your jaw. So in most cases, I believe, people that suffer from trigeminal neuralgia only experience pain in one of the three sections, and for me it's the middle section. So I've had pain all the way from just in my eyelid all the way down and across up to my ear. And some people have pain in more than one section. I think the most common sections are the middle and the lower sections. And unfortunately, because it's quite a rare thing, it often gets misdiagnosed as toothache, because a lot of the pain can feel like it's within your teeth. I definitely understand why it gets mistreated and misdiagnosed. And a lot of people who've had trigeminal neuralgia have ended up going to the dentist complaining of toothache, and have actually had many teeth removed only to realise the pain's still there. And thankfully I'm in quite a lucky position, because when my face pains first started, they weren't really that bad. but as time went on, they were more frequent and worse. And I think in 2019 was when I started to do some research into it, because I had no idea what it was. And originally, when it started getting worse, the pain was originating just here, so just below my nostril. And I did originally think that it was tooth related, because if you didn't know, I've been blessed with what some might refer to as the British smile, in that I don't have perfectly straight teeth, and I am lucky enough to have 6 incisors, 6 front teeth, rather than the normal 4. But they don't fit in my mouth, so my 3rd incisor out on each side protrudes, and the roots are quite far up. I can feel them just under my nostril. So the pain that I was feeling stemmed all in this area, and I just thought maybe it has something to do with the root of my tooth and it's a dental issue. And my last dentist visit didn't show any issues, so I decided to go to my doctor's, and he hadn't any idea what it was, what it could be. I tried explaining the pain, where it came from, all that sort of thing, and he also felt around in my mouth and asked me the same question about, you know, maybe it's tooth related. What does the dentist say? So from that point on, I thought maybe it's best to get my dentist to actually check to see if there's anything there. And this was sort of in the middle of me researching about trigeminal neuralgia, and every other symptom was sort of, I could check them off the list. I had pretty much every symptom. And the very specific symptoms, I mean, nerve pain in and of itself is a specific kind of pain. I don't think I've ever had nerve pain before, and basically I ended up going to the dentist to make sure. He did the appointment, it was just a normal checkup. He did x-rays, all that sort of thing. And at the end I explained what I was going through, and he immediately thought it was trigeminal neuralgia. So that sort of made me feel a bit better in my own self-diagnosis, and he sent a referral off to the hospital, and I did manage to get an appointment for quite a few months in advance, but unfortunately due to the current pandemic my appointment got cancelled. So I'm sort of stuck waiting for the time being, which is absolutely fine. Since I've seen the dentist, it was November 2019, I haven't had a bad flare-up. Now, when I originally saw the doctor in 2019, I was going through what I thought was my worst flare-up, and normally my flare-ups would last maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Now the one at the doctor's appointment stage, I think that was going on 4 weeks, and after I saw him it sort of wore off within that week, and it didn't come back for another 5 or 6 months, which is its sort of a routine that I've started to notice. And before my dentist appointment, which was in November, I had started with another flare-up in, I think it was September, and it was still going strong mid-November. It was 6 weeks plus, and it didn't end. It was a 2-month flare-up, and it was my worst ever. And if I had to live with that every day, I don't think I'd be in a great mental health state. Trigeminal neuralgia is meant to have the worst pain, or one of the worst pains you can experience, and I can vouch for that. My worst ever flare-up. Now, normally the pain would start, and I'd always notice it when I'd gently rub my face. So if I'm coming out of the shower, drying my face off, or washing my face gently, the pain would start. And the pain's not a surface pain, me moving my face would trigger it, but the pain would be inside my face, deep inside there, and it would be a split-second shock. Whereas this new flare-up, I was not only getting the normal pains, but I would also get another sort of pain where it would be intensified and it would last for maybe 45 seconds, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to sort of ride out the pain, and I can't really describe it other than being quite horrific, and there's nothing you can do. And during my flare-ups I tend to talk differently. I try not to move my face as much as possible. It hurts to brush my teeth, eat, smile and laugh. Anything to do with my lips, it will hurt. And one of the main triggers when I first started getting face pain was feeling pain from the slightest breeze. So if you get out of your car and you start to walk, I would get face pain from the air touching my face. And this new flare-up, this worst flare-up that I've had, it actually developed a little surface trigger point, because before it would just be movement that would set the pain off, but in this case it was touch, and you would think if you touch something it would hurt where you're touching it. In this case it was the slightest little area. If I touched just inside my upper inner lip, it would send the worst pain, and there's nothing you can do. At that point, for things like eating, brushing your teeth, I would have to sort of trigger it, otherwise I would be gingerly doing everything and be miserable. So I would have to force my way through the pain, basically. Even with all that being said, I would still consider myself quite lucky, because a lot of the people that do have trigeminal neuralgia have the pain constantly, and I don't think it's necessarily the worst kind of pain constantly, but they have constant pain either during their flare-ups or forever. And the thing about it is there's no real cure, and for me, I think I can live with how I am experiencing it right now. It is said to get worse the longer time goes on and they become more frequent. Thankfully this year I have had 2 very slight flare-ups and they've not caused me any issue whatsoever really. But as far as treatment goes, there's very limited options. The first real option is medication, and then the next stage up is surgery. Invasive and non-invasive surgeries that have very real scary risks to them. The cause of trigeminal neuralgia isn't always that obvious, and there's 3 main causes of it. One of them is MS, multiple sclerosis, and one of the other causes is a brain tumour or a growth that's compressing the nerve. So fingers crossed I'm not in that category, and the most common cause is it's just random compression or friction of that nerve. And I'm hoping when things sort of normalise in the UK, which I can't imagine will be for quite a while, I will get the ball rolling again. I understand why my appointment was cancelled, and currently I'm fine. I don't feel it's necessary to push currently because I'm not suffering and I don't have any other symptoms that would point to anything more sinister, thankfully. But yeah, this is my experience with suspected trigeminal neuralgia, and I just thought it would be helpful to sort of raise awareness that it exists, and there's people out there every day that are in so much pain but you can't see it. My art was to help people that don't experience it themselves see what it's like. For today, I think we've got Basil slithering above us. Oh, and feel free to leave a comment if you liked seeing my face, and also if you didn't like seeing my face. I don't know how much of a common occurrence this is going to be, but I mainly did this because the recording is an iPad recording, so it's not that interesting, so maybe my face was. Anyway, I just want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stick around for the next one. Ta-ra!